I'd always dreamed of escaping the city's chaos, so when I finally saved enough to buy a 10-acre patch of land in the rolling hills of Willow Creek, Oregon, in the summer of 2023, it felt like I'd won the lottery. My name's Ethan, and after 2 decades of honking horns and shoebox apartments, I craved silence, fresh air, and a chance to build something real. The land was perfect golden fields stretching under wide skies, with a small farmhouse where I planned to grow organic herbs: mint, sage, oregano, chamomile. I spent my first months breaking my back clearing weeds and planting rows, picturing a future selling at the local farmer's market, maybe even opening a roadside stand. Every dawn, as I checked my plants and breathed in that crisp, earthy air, I felt like I'd found my place in the world. But peace, it turns out, is fragile when a pair of sisters in a silver Maserati decide your land is their personal racetrack. It started innocently enough, or so I thought. One afternoon, I was watering my mint when I heard an engine roar. A sleek Maserati tore across my field, carving deep tire tracks through the grass I'd spent months nurturing. I stood there, jaw on the ground, watching the silver blur vanish toward the horizon. A wrong turn, I told myself. Had to be. But the next day, same time, 2 p.m. Sharp, it happened again. The driver didn't even glance my way, just plowed through like my land was a public highway. By day 3, I was done waiting for apologies. I staked out the spot where they cut through, arms waving like a madman as the car approached. The Maserati slowed, and the driver's window slid down with a soft hum. Behind the wheel was a woman in her late 40s, platinum hair flawless, dripping in diamonds that glinted in the sun. She sized me up like I was a bug on her windshield. Before I could get a word out, she snapped, "This path's been used for decades. You're new here, so you wouldn't get it." Her tone could have curdled milk. In the passenger seat, another woman, her sister, judging by the resemblance, stared at her lap, silent and tense. I tried to stay calm, explaining that this was my property, my livelihood, but the driver, who I later learned was Vanessa Holt, just smirked. "Your little garden doesn't trump tradition," she said, rolling up the window like she'd settled the matter. As they sped off, I noticed something odd. They didn't just drive through. They stopped behind Vanessa's sprawling estate, hidden by a dense wall of arborvitae, for exactly 2 minutes. Vanessa honked twice, softly, like a code. Then they peeled out toward the main road. That moment stuck with me, a nagging itch I couldn't scratch. The tire tracks got worse daily, turning my field into a muddy mess. My herbs were choking in the ruts, and every night I lay awake, stewing over Vanessa's smug face. I'd moved to Willow Creek to escape people who trampled boundaries, yet here I was, dealing with arrogance worse than anything I'd seen in the city. The audacity was almost poetic. Vanessa looked me in the eye as she ruined my land, daring me to fight back. Her sister, Clara, was different. She never met my gaze, her shoulders hunched like she was carrying the weight of the world. Something about her silence screamed she was as trapped as I was furious. After a week, I'd had enough. I drove to the hardware store and bought 3 heavy-duty, no trespassing signs, big, red, impossible to miss. I spent a Saturday hammering them into the ground at every entry point to my field. In America, you shouldn't have to beg people to respect your land, but Vanessa clearly didn't care about property rights. The next day, I waited by my window, heart pounding. 2 p.m. Came and went. No Maserati. I let myself hope the signs had worked. But Tuesday morning, I walked out to find them gone, not damaged, just vanished. Those signs were bolted to metal posts driven deep into the earth. Someone had come onto my land at night with tools and stolen them. The violation hit like a punch. Not only were they trespassing by day, but now they were sneaking around at night to erase my boundaries. I didn't have cameras, yet never thought I'd need them in a sleepy town like Willow Creek. That afternoon, the Maserati was back, Vanessa's smirk wider than ever, Clara's head still bowed. Then came the real kicker, an envelope in my mailbox, thick paper, embossed with Evergreen Estates Homeowners Association. Inside, a violation notice claiming my barn's red paint wasn't neutral enough for the neighborhood. The timing wasn't coincidence. I'd challenged Vanessa, and she was hitting back with HOA nonsense. So, I repainted it gray, swallowing my pride while she probably laughed behind her hedge, counting her money. While I was up on the ladder, paintbrush in hand, I saw something that changed everything. A woman in a tailored suit slipped out from Vanessa's hedge, glancing around like a fugitive. She darted to a Bentley parked on a side road and sped off, checking her mirrors. She wasn't local-eyed, met most neighbors by then, and her polished look screamed wealth. What was she doing sneaking around Vanessa's backyard? I started watching closer. Every day, around 2 p.m., different women, always rich, always nervous, followed the same routine. They'd arrive as Vanessa's Maserati cut through my field, slip behind the hedge for an hour, then leave, clutching designer bags with medical logos. It hit me. My land wasn't just a shortcut. It was part of something bigger. I needed proof. I bought a top-of-the-line security camera system, night vision, motion sensors, crystal clear video, and spent a Sunday hiding them along my fence, focused on the Maserati's path. I thought I'd catch tire tracks, maybe Vanessa flipping me off. Instead, I uncovered a bombshell. The footage showed that suited woman again. Turns out, she was Eleanor Price, wife of Willow Creek's mayor. She was carrying a leather bag with a spa logo, moving like she was dodging paparazzi. Over a week, I recorded a dozen women politicians' wives, CEOs, socialites, all sneaking through Vanessa's hedge, all paranoid, all toting medical bags. Then I adjusted a camera angle and saw it. Behind the hedge wasn't just greenery. There were lights, a reclining chair, equipment straight out of a dermatologist's office. Vanessa was running an illegal beauty clinic, Botox, fillers, high-end facials right in her backyard. My field was the secret route for her elite clients to avoid prying eyes. The irony was infuriating. Vanessa enforced HOA rules on paint colors while breaking the biggest Onino home businesses allowed. The footage also showed Clara, always in the background, looking miserable. She didn't touch the equipment or greet clients. She just stood there, shoulders slumped, eyes darting like she was trapped in a nightmare. Sometimes she'd step forward, then freeze, retreating into herself. Her fear wasn't defiancy, it was desperation. I realized Clara wasn't just Vanessa's accomplice. She was her victim. Then Vanessa upped the ante. A new HOA letter arrived, marked urgent legal notice, claiming my cameras violated privacy. It was signed by a Portland law firm, and my hands shook as I read it. What if they sued? Could I lose my farm fighting a legal battle I couldn't afford? I barely slept, doubting everything. Was I crazy to think I could win? But the next morning, I found a folded note wedged in my gate. Keep filming. You're not wrong. The handwriting was neat but hurried, like someone wrote it in secret. My heart raced. Someone knew about Vanessa's threats and was rooting for me. But who? Was it a trap? I started watching Clara closer, noticing her during her daily walks with her collie. She moved like a ghost, head down, flinching at every sound. I timed my gardening to cross paths with her and said a casual hello. Her eyes widened in panic. I don't know anything, she whispered, hurrying away. But in that split-second glance, I saw pain and hope. I was sure she'd left the note. I couldn't confront her directly. Vanessa might lash out, so I left a small bundle of sage by her door with a note. If you need a friend, you're not alone. The next day, I slipped a spa business card from a client's bag near their mailbox. It was gone by evening. 2 days later, a manila envelope appeared at my gate, my name scrawled in that same shaky script. Inside were client schedules, HOA documents, and financial records, proof of Vanessa's empire. Payments listed made my head spin. Thousands per session, all cash, all off the books. This wasn't a side hustle. It was a criminal operation. That night, my phone rung. An unknown number. Clara's voice, trembling but resolute, said, "We need to talk. It's time to end this." We met at dawn in a wooded corner of my land, hidden from view. Clara looked like she hadn't slept in years, her hands shaking as she whispered, "She controls everything, me money, my meds, my life." Tears streamed down her face as she spilled decades of abuse. Vanessa had isolated her, taken her savings, and forced her to work in the clinic for free. "If I leave, I'm homeless," she said. "But you have your land, your freedom. You can stop her." She handed me more evidence, client names, HOA allies fed up with Vanessa, proof of tax evasion. Doubt not it you had, if I ruined lives based on Clara's word. But her plea, "Help us both get free," was raw, real. I had to act. I spent weeks planning, researching property laws, and consulting lawyers anonymously. At the farm store, I stared at tire spikes, legal, pricey, but perfect. I bought them, along with warning signs, and installed them along the Maserati's path, ensuring every step was documented and legal. Clara tipped me off about Vanessa's top client, a senator's wife who paid triple for secrecy and always came the first Friday of each month at 2 p.m. She was the bait. That morning, my stomach churned. What if it failed? What if I looked like the villain? But Clara's text confirmed the client was coming. At 1:45, I texted two HOA members Clara trusted. Urgent. Illegal activity at President's home. Need witnesses at my property line now. At 2 p.m., a black Lexus rolled in, gliding toward the hedge until the spikes hit. Thunk. All four tires blew, the car slumping into the mud. The senator's wife screamed, "This can't get out. I have a gala tonight." Her panic echoed across the fields. Vanessa's Maserati roared in next, tires shredding with a second thunk. Her face pure shock priceless. She'd driven into her own downfall. The HOA members arrived, phones out, filming. One yelled, "Vanessa, this your idea of neighborhood charm? Looks like a crime scene." Neighbors gathered, drawn by the chaos. Clara watched from her window, a faint smile breaking through. The footage I showed the HOA months of client visits, trespassing, unlicensed treatments was undeniable. Vanessa's empire was exposed, her clients scrambling to cover their tracks. She screamed entrapment, but no one listened. The senator's wife was already calling her lawyer, furious about the illegal Botox. Then Clara stepped forward, holding an old HOA fine for leaving a scarf on her porch. Her voice, steady and clear, cut through the chaos. "You fined me $75 for a scarf," said it hurt the neighborhood's image. Here's my response 20 years late and free. She tore the letter in half, and the crowd went silent. Vanessa's face crumpled, speechless for once. That evening's HOA meeting was electric. Neighbors unleashed years of grievances, fines for Christmas lights, threats over kids' toys. Vanessa was ousted, 5-0. She still voted for herself. Pathetic. Within days, the county shut down her clinic. The IRS came for her unreported millions. Local news ran headlines. HOA tyrant's secret spa scandal. Vanessa sold her house and fled, humiliated. Clara inherited half the sale, finally free. She started a consulting firm, helping HOAs avoid dictators like her sister, and joined the new, Fair HOA board. My field healed. Now a sea of sunflowers that became a local attraction, a symbol of fighting back. My herbs flew off the farmers' market tables, and Willow Creek became a real community, not Vanessa's fiefdom. Sometimes, I'd see Clara walking her collie, both of them lighter, happier. Justice tasted sweeter than any herb I grew. But here's where it gets messy. Would you trust a stranger's note to risk everything? Would you have spiked those tires, knowing it could backfire? And if you were Clara, what would you say to the person who caged you for decades? Drop your thoughts below, and if this kind of drama hooks you, hit like and subscribe for more stories where the little guy wins.